All right, welcome to the Books, Beards, Booze podcast, where we drink booze, have beards, and talk books. This is our weekly book battle episode, where we talk about what we're reading and writing currently, as well as a debate topic. I am Bob of TalesbyBob.
And I'm Derek, and I didn't have one, so I'm from AUM.
There you
That's
go.
where I got my degree.
There you go. So here's where we talk about kind of what we've been doing ourselves personally in the past week. And then we're going to dive into our book battle question. Derek, this week, what have you been writing?
I've been working on a new novel idea that I didn't tell Bob about. Mostly because I have very, very little idea of what it is, but I just know what...
I've seen you've been jotting some notes, doing a little Google docking.
Yeah,
so
it's...
better than space docking.
It's... Really? Goodness. Anyways, so, I started playing the game Pillars of Eternity, and I realized that I prefer a certain style of narrative. Maybe I don't prefer it in general, but right now I'm favoring a certain style.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to plan out a story based on that. So I've been trying to brainstorm a suitable narrative for that.
Yeah.
That's what I've been just kind of writing stuff down. I still don't even have anything that I feel comfortable with, but I keep trying to think of things.
A seed of an idea, but not a plot.
No, I don't even have a seed. Like I'm struggling with it, but I'm not forcing it. And I've come up with some more stuff for other novels and kind of jotted stuff down. But I'm in a lot of planning mode. You know how you're taking all of your story ideas and trying to flesh them out into I'm like the step before that.
Okay.
Kind of thing.
That's
been, and we never did discuss the other things I should be writing for the blog we were supposed to talk about after last week.
Oh, we didn't.
Yeah, but that's what I've been writing, which is plans essentially.
Yep. Okay. I think I was talking about last week how I redid my outline for Blightborn. I fucking tore through some Blightborn this week. My plan was to be done by the end of June. If I keep up this pace, I'll be done.
Middle of June
at the latest, and that's with me adding some chapters. Like I probably wrote
3 chapters,
3.5 chapters this week. I mean, I hit it hard, close to 4 chapters, and yeah, it's going. I am very not happy with it. It's going to require a ton of fixing in other drafts, but...
Not happy with it, with what you wrote this week, or it as a whole?
I'm happy with parts of it. I just know that I have done so many fits and starts with this novel that I know tonally there's going to be... I'm going to have to fix, make the tone fit across. And just... I think partly some of my characters don't have an individual enough of a voice. So I'm going to have to do that. And then there's just some various plot things I'm going to have to... But I'm just getting the story done.
Get the story done, yeah.
And then once it's done, I can go back in and fix.
And before you go back in and fix, we can have a meeting.
Yeah.
And I can help you... Because it's... Keep track of okay, this is what I want to do, this is what I want it to be, so we can kind of jot things down, so you're like, okay, as you're going through and changing things, these are the things I need to keep in mind.
Oh, yeah. And I've got a list, I've got a list of things that, it's at the end of the document, as I, oh, well, okay, I need to, this is an element that I don't think I've played up enough, I need to play it up more. Or I've toyed with the idea of one of my viewpoint characters and this other character having some sort of relationship, maybe. So that's a note, oh, maybe I need to go back and
pepper that in.
Just some things like that. And then, there is one my chapters, I'm trying to keep them around 2,000 words, between 1,000 and 2,000 words. And I was writing one chapter, and I hit the 2,000 word mark, and I was like, I have this one thing I kind of really want to work into it. And I was pretty tired at this point on the day, and I just kind of wrote it, and I kind of shoehorned it in at the end. I was like, this is shit. I really hate this.
But you wanted in that chapter, so you just go back.
But
and
now,
fix it later.
I was like, you know what? I just need to separate this into another chapter, expand it. Like, it's like probably like 300 words. Like, instead of just shoehorning it at the end, I'm just going to split it off, make it its own chapter that immediately follows. I do that sometimes in this book. Like, I don't always jump to the next viewpoint character. I will have 2 chapters back to back with the same viewpoint character if there's a reason for it. So,
well, I mean, my question is, if there's a reason to do that, and it's not, is the reason that there's time passage?
Oh, well, actually, it is this. I forgot. This is actually going to change viewpoint characters, because the chapter that I wrote is from Rice's viewpoint. And then I put this thing at the end where I need these people to escape, and they're about to go chase after them. Da 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 da. Like, I had this whole big like trap is sprung, fight is had, someone is killed. It's dramatic, yada yada yada. But it's like, oh, well, I need these people to escape. I need to show that they have escaped, because in this other chapter over here, they're caught. They're chased down and killed. Well, so I decided, this was all done from Rice's viewpoint. I was like, it's basically they're upstairs, and then they're going to go downstairs, and there's going to be a big fight. And I kind of just rushed the big fight. I was like, all right, I'm just going to make the next chapter from Hagen's viewpoint, have this show this fight more, rather than just be like this rushed thing.
Yeah.
And show the fight, show the people escape, be fine. So that's the plan. But I basically split it off. I split those 300 words off, made it its own chapter heading, and beside the chapter heading I put expand. So
yeah, the only reason I was asking is because, and I think we have this disagreement a lot, but you always seem to shoot for a word count, and I'm like, look, if the chapter needs to be longer, just make it longer. Don't make it 2, unless there's a reason to make it 2. Like there's a good, impactful ending, or if there's a skip in time. But since you're changing perspective, that makes sense.
But it's also one of those things, if every chapter in the book is between 1,000 and 2,000 words, to have one chapter that's 3,000 words.
Well, that's why I think you shouldn't do
that. It's
at all. You just do as long as it takes to get from point A of the... Anyway, that's a whole different discussion, but... So yeah, that's what you've been writing.
That's what I've been writing.
Had a pretty good week.
Yeah, had a real good week.
Good week.
Super hyped about it. Super hyped to be getting it done. I'm also, at the same time, working on getting all my other stories, to a tackleable point.
Tackle fuel.
Yeah.
Tackling fuel.
What have you been reading?
Italian.
It's getting good.
Let me rephrase that. Nothing. Because, for whatever reason, I have not read at all this week. Well, no, that's not fair. I read almost the next chapter in Italian. So I've read some.
Yeah.
But normally I'd be almost done with Italian by now. Or, my chapters for the week. But, I don't know, this week was weird.
I have been reading up a fucking storm. The book I finished was The Palace Job by Patrick Weeks. Real good. Fantasy heist novel. Real good. Real funny.
Like heists. Everybody likes heists.
Like a heist.
If you don't like heists, you're not a friend of mine.
Right. Love a heist. It's a fantasy heist. It's and it's humorous. It's no Liza Locklamora.
Because
it's a much lighter read.
The best heist I've ever read.
It's the best heist novel. I'm going to try and read every fantasy heist novel I can find.
Okay. That's what you're going through right now? You're just feeling it?
Well, and then I think I want to try and
tackle one?
And make a... Well, no. I think I want to try and write an article, a list. Here are some
of my favorites.
What are the 5 best?
And what do they do well? What do they not do well?
Heist books.
So it'd be number 1's Liza Locklamora. It does all the things well. This one does this well, but does not do this as well. Otherwise, it would be as good as Liza Locklamora.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Well, I'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
I've also been listening to Rhaenyra Revelations.
I was going to mention that, yeah. I've started that
audiobook.
Way further than I am.
Found out last night that it's an omnibus of 2 novels put together. And so, I've listened to the first novel. The thing it's doing that I love so much is basically you find out that somebody is a bad guy, and none of the good guys know it. Mm-hmm. And every time you hear that person, like, oh, well, this person did this, you're like, oh, it seems like such a just an innocent thing. It'll be like, oh, this person made a suggestion of for someone, like, here's some people to get married to, but in your
you're like, oh god, that could be a thing. It could be a thing.
Like, oh my god. What? Why? Why is it doing? Like, well, you know, it's going to be for some evil reason.
Well, is it though? I don't know enough about this character, so I
don't want to spoil it.
Well, no, but it's one of those things. Like, do I know for sure that everything that they're infecting?
It's because you know, like, by this point where you realize that there is a big behind the scenes scheme going on with a ton of moving parts. So. It's real good.
Yeah, I'm still early on in the book where they're in the dungeon.
Yeah, it does some really good things. Really well written. I'm not super big on the voice actor at times. My biggest problem.
Okay, written, but
my biggest problem. I figured you'd really like it. I think he writes like Jordan.
I don't.
He does a ton of that, like, third-person omniscient, set the scene, then narrow it down.
Yeah, but he's not.
Because this stuff's actually interesting. Oh!
Yeah, Robert Jordan's is interesting. This is...
No.
Well, once I've done more of it...
I like it.
But,
I like it.
I mean, it's... Oh, yeah, but of course you'd like it. It's pretty sparse.
Sparse my ass. But yeah, so that's real good. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to read next.
Except for it's going to be some heist books, apparently.
It may be. I've got.
Well, you said it on the show now. You can't back out.
Yeah, well, it's one I've really been wanting to read a James Bond novel, and I've got one on my Kindle right now. So
you have to read the first one.
Pretty short. Yeah, I'm going to read Casino Royale.
Is that the first one?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm undecided if I'm going to go straight into that, or I think the other book I'm thinking about is The Dungeoneers. Is what it's called. I don't know who it's by, but it's about dwarves.
Oh right, yeah.
So, love dwarves. Dungeoneering sounds kind of heisty a little bit. It was recommended on like a list of like people are talking about, oh, what are some heist books? And I'm like, oh, well, this isn't quite what you're looking for, but it's kind of what you're looking for. So, yeah, may check that out. All right, so this week we're sponsored by this. Traveling? Why not visit the city-state of Comore? Located on the shores of the Iron Sea, gaze upon the 5 towers as you ride along its numerous canals. View the remnants of the Eldrin's elder-glass structures, but most of all, sample its world-famous cuisine.
The food... You know how people always talk about George R.R. Martin's obsession with food? Now, I haven't read those books, but the way they talk about food in Lives of Locke Lamora...
Well, that's because that's the only thing Comore has going for it, is the food.
Is that they've... Well... And apparently they're thieves.
Well, yeah, but that's what it's known for. Comore is known for its
food.
It's food.
I just thought it was cool because...
The eight like,
culinary arts or whatever. Yeah. Well, I liked it just because... Sure, it's what they have going for them, but just because that's what they have going for them doesn't mean that you would train your students, like, to do it.
Oh, yeah.
And I love that...
It's the only thing.
And I love that, like, them making dinner at night is just them going all fucking out. Practically every night. They're like, what are we going to make this time?
Well, it's because you're probably going to die tomorrow.
Well, yeah, but...
It's Comore.
God, there's so much about that world I love.
I am sorely tempted to... read the next 2 books just because you don't like them, and I just want to see...
It's not that I don't like them, it's just
that they don't live up to you.
It's not even close.
I know what your problems. I know what your problem with it is, and
I want you to read them because if you disagree, I think we can't be friends. And bear with me, it's because I honestly don't think it's even debatable. Because, like, that first book is so close to perfect that anything that's not that good would be a letdown, and the ones afterwards are like just they have cool stuff, and I like parts of them, but it's I mean it's nowhere near.
I haven't read them, and I know your main criticism is The reason we like Locke is because he's such an expert, badass guy
at what he does.
At what he does, and in the next 2 books, he doesn't get to show that.
He's constantly being outsmarted, which is the only thing he's good at.
Here, not having read it, can't really argue this on, but like here is one common problem with series. It's that every book they basically become more badass. And so the problems have to continually get bigger and more like thing like Feist. You know, it's like, okay, we've ended this one world-ending thing. Oh my God, now this is the world-ending thing that could have ended the first world-ending thing. And like that problem with Feist, I'm like,
it's power creep.
Power creep.
Yeah.
Is it possible he's doing this in such a way as to avoid not power creep, because it's not like he would necessarily be acquiring new powers, but it's allowing the story to still be interesting without it being always this, what's this new world-ending plot that's even bigger than the one before? Is that possibly what he's doing?
It's not, because the way the stories are built, it's literally just a heist. Yeah. Like, it's not, or most of the time it's just a heist, and he's being bested constantly. And that's fun. Like, he's not a fighter, so if he gets in a fight, he's going to lose.
Yeah.
Unless Jean's there, and then he's...
Well, see, that reading this The Palace Job, I'm more like, where do you... Like, there's 2 more books.
Yeah.
Where do you go? Like, the heist that they just pulled is... Like, where... I'm struggling to see where they go from there.
Here's how they do it in Lines of Loch Lamore. Every new job is in a different city.
Yeah.
So it's a different circumstance. Like, you don't have the same connections you used to have. So there's no power creep, because you have to rebuild your connections and stuff like that. So that's not really an issue. And we've had enough discussion. Anyways, but yeah, you should read them. I mean, like I said, they're good. They're just I mean, it's just not.
I'm going to. Basically, the reason I haven't is I've kind of been thinking like, oh well, I'd kind of like to wait till they're all out, but he's writing them so slowly now.
It's gonna be a while.
That I don't
and they generally are fairly self-contained, so you can read them and then just kind of be like, okay, well,
just
move on.
Read the wiki summaries and then dive into the newest. Derek, I will go read the wiki on the second book right now.
I will put this pin through your foot.
Alright, so let's dive into our book battle. This week, we're asking, what is your favorite fantasy villain? I've been told that Derek's answer is going to annoy me.
Yes, and my answer is you.
Me?
You.
I'm your favorite villain?
Yes, because I hate you. If you say favorite fantasy villain and I ask you, do you mean one that you like, one that you hate, and you're just like, yeah, whatever, that is not an answer.
It is an answer.
It ruins that we can't have a different conversation, and we can't have any kind of debate. This is supposed to be where we discuss our opinions and then discuss who's right. If we don't define the question, there is no way to debate it. You're just being like, well, I'm right. No, I'm right. What fucking good does that do?
Define it, then.
I want to go with the villain that you actively hate the most. Like, does a good job of making you be like, oh, screw that guy.
Okay, I got it then.
Okay. Now my answer is still you. No, it's Prince Regal from the Farseer trilogy.
Yeah. Oh, he's a twat. He's a righteous twat.
Hate him more than almost anyone.
Yeah.
Like, because he's not even good at what he does. Like, he just has so many advantages that even his idiocy, he can get away with it. Like, it's so frustrating. Like, at least some villains are good at what they do. He's not even good at what he does. He just has so much behind him that it doesn't matter. God, it's so frustrating. And I read those books at a very emotional time in my life, and it made me hate him a lot.
Well, you're wrong.
No,
and I think correct. I think if lots of people were listening to this podcast, I think I would win on a popular vote on this one, hands down.
Lay it on me.
Dolores Umbridge.
I don't even know who that is.
You've seen the Harry Potter movies, right?
Yeah.
Lady in Pink. Lady in Pink.
Fuck her. I've only seen the movies. Don't fuck her.
Oh, she's awful. God,
give me some. If you can remember anything about her, like things.
No. Well, I mean, like
I remember vaguely. I remember.
She is the like quintessential super petty bureaucrat who is also actively evil. Like,
she was actively evil?
Oh man, she makes Harry write with that quill that like I can't remember what, like, I will be a good boy or something like that.
Yeah.
And as he writes, it doesn't write on the paper, it writes it onto the back of, like, it carves it onto the back of his hand, then magically heals it and does it again and again. I can't remember. I haven't seen the movies all that much.
I've seen them all at least once, but that's pretty fucked up.
Yeah, she makes him like, oh no, behave yourself, and write like that. And as well as deals like she's kind of like a stand-in for like the super, like, she's so many like cliche things that you hate rolled into one. Like, she's kind of like that like pretend to be so sweet and nice. Like, she dresses in pink and her office is filled with like pictures of cats. Like, she's super hypocritical, you know?
Yeah.
Like, she's bringing goodness and decency, you know? But at the same time, she's making people carve into their own hand, you know? Like, it just, she's a huge hypocrite. And to me, like, that's what makes me hate them. I hate hypocrisy. So, there might be someone I could think of more, like, just my gut was into, like, Dolores Umbridge.
I feel like if we had to agree on an answer, I feel like it would be like Aes Sedai.
You know, just to fuck with you, I almost said the Aes Sedai.
I was trying to think of a specific one. Is that which one is that?
is the one that just shows up, like, that no one has seen.
Yeah.
And it just shows up and is just being a twat.
I kind of had problems with her, but except for the fact that I understood where she was coming from.
Who is it that?
Because she's the one that's trying to get Rand. Because like
she's the one who's come in to run Rand, basically.
She's the one trying to help him because he's like, okay, he's built himself to be hard, not strong, and if he keeps doing things the way he's going to do, he's going to break.
Yeah,
and that's bad for everyone.
Yeah,
I don't like the way she's doing it, but at least I understand.
Really, you could
Elida
more or less
probably my least
pick any Aes Sedai, but like when the ones like whichever one.
I think the one that makes me the most mad is Moraine, though.
Yeah,
because it's like you're supposed to be on our side.
Who is
it
that like? You know, they move out of the White Tower. Isn't the White Tower?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they set up that other town kind of deal.
Yeah, yeah.
Whoever's running that.
The one that's not evil or the one that's evil?
The one that's not. I mean, the one that's evil, like, at least she has evil as an excuse.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I definitely remember.
She gets a pass because she's actually evil. The rest of them are just...
Yeah.
I'll say this. I've been reading a lot of people's comments about Wheel of Time here lately. And one thing that never really clicked for me, it's like the reason that women are so dominant in this world is because literally a man fucked up the world. A man broke the world, and so that's why. To the echo of that is to this day that men are viewed as fuck ups and women run everything.
So like, when I talk. Do you just, like, tune out?
Yeah, basically. Because you keep talking about how this book is good. Or these books are good.
But, like,
they're just not.
This is literally the thing that I talked about. Like, that's the whole reason that the book is the way it is.
No one has time to listen to you, Derek.
But then you say things like that, and that's just like, Derek, why didn't you tell me that I should do this in my writing? Like, I told you that 3 years ago. No, you didn't. No.
I don't remember that at all.
This is the same guy. I think I might quit. I just think I quit.
You know who my original answer was?
Well, okay. See, now that we've answered that, what was your answer and by what criteria? And then I'll try and answer it that way.
Soulcatcher.
And is that because you
to me, they do the perfect blend of their
bad for a reason.
They're bad. Mm-hmm. They are a bad guy. They are definitely a villain. But they're utter badass while they do it. They don't start out that way. I mean, they always are a bad guy, but at least initially, they are. Soulcatcher is the sponsor of the Black Company. Right. And then she starts using the Black Company for her own ends. Well, she was always using the Black Company for her own ends, but at least at first it wasn't anything evil. Mm-hmm. Oh, exciting news. I found out that the new Black Company novel comes out this year. Okay. And, excitingly, it's going to be 1.5. It's set between books 1 and 2. Which is...
hey, then I can read it and actually know what's going on.
Yeah, I'm super excited for that.
We might have to do a thing for that, too.
Oh, my God. I'm so hyped for that.
Okay, but so by the criteria
but she's just my favorite. I just enjoy her. She is definitely evil, but and a lot of her evilness is kind of petty. Like I don't want to give spoilers, but she's out to get the lady, you know, and just she's
I kind of like
one of the most interesting characters. But I didn't say the lady because the lady ends up, spoiler alert. After the first 3 books, she's not the bad guy anymore.
She's still got some badness going on.
Well, yeah, but I mean they all do. They're all the Black Company.
Not Croker.
In the in the books of the South.
Yeah.
In the books of the South, he does some shit. But she's not. I mean, she's on the good side at that point. So she's not evil.
Because if it was what bad guy do I like? That's a different thing than what villain do I just fucking they're the worst.
What villain do you think does the best job at being the bad guy?
As in character or in effect?
In character, who?
As in who's a competent bad guy?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Competent bad guy. See, that's why I like defining it, because then we can kind of look at things a different way.
I want to say Sauron, Lord of the Rings.
I haven't read it, so I don't know.
If it wasn't for one fucking,
But then how good is he if you can't stop a hobbit? You know.
It's one of those deals if Frodo had not thrown that ring into Mount Doom, Sauron would have won. That was it. Sauron would have conquered the world. There was just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And I think he did the best job. He definitely kept his evil going a long time.
I'm trying to think, who is the bad guy character that was, in my opinion, super effective? So, can I say a group of people? Sure. I think the Bonds Magi from The Lies of Loch Lomond.
I'll say this, man. The reason I quit, they were real evil, real, do not fuck withable. Mm-hmm. And when I started reading the second book and I realized, shit, they're a thing. That's partly why I quit reading. It's and I've since figured out they're not that big of a part.
Not in the second book. Third book is where they come into real effect.
But they're real evil. They're real.
Yeah, and just they're strong. They're real evil, and if you kill one of us, we literally stop doing everything, and the entirety of our forces fall on you until you're dead.
Yeah.
Period. It's
yeah. So
I think those, because that is nothing if not effective.
Oh yeah, no, and it was one of those deals I was oh god, the Bonds Magi in the first book that was enough. When I got to the second book, and I was I don't know that I want to read this right now. I don't want to read about that.
And it ended up having almost nothing to do with that. Yeah. The third book has a lot to do with that, but it also has. It's
No,
book 3, and you kind of find out stuff in that book.
Yeah. Okay. No. So, yeah, those were good. Those were good villains.
Because I don't understand what you're supposed to do against them. Like, what do you do? They're just like, nah, we win.
Yeah. I just had a thought. Oh, fuck. Oh, well, I lost it. Yeah, it was just a bunch of... Like, basically, Sauron got fucked up by a bunch of, like, bullshit. He, fucking... like, bisexual hobbit throwing a ring in a volcano. A fucking... His main guy gets killed by a hobbit and Rohirrim chick. Like... You can't plan for that. You can't see that shit coming.
Well, obviously, your best guy was pretty shit if he died to a hobbit and a fucking...
And he just killed, like, the king of the, like, he just killed, what was it?
Stay on point, bro.
Oh, man.
Shit ain't done yet.
Nazgul was badass.
Look, Bob. It's a failure in leadership. Okay? Simple as that.
Yeah. Any other villain you wanna broach?
I feel like there's some.
I'm sure we're forgetting so many.
I mean, there's like the character of Dark and Raw from. I don't know how deep he goes into these because I only read the first 3 or 4 of the Sword of Truth novels.
Yeah.
Fuck that guy. Like you never read.
So the villains in like there's not any like one particular villain so far in Right Era Revelations, but like this conspiracy thingy in the background, it's mighty fucky right now. I don't know how that's gonna go.
Yeah, you didn't get very far before you quit reading the Sword of Truth, right?
Yeah, no, I didn't even have the book. Like it was Dusty's book, and I read like
like the bad guy in that. Like there's I can't remember if it's a scene or multiple scenes where he is literally got like a child buried in the ground where he can't move anything under his head, and he's like feeding him and befriending him to make him completely trust him so that he can rip his soul out and ride it safely into the underworld. It's like, fuck you, dude. Yeah. You're a dick.
Yeah.
And then like his number one man like rapes children. So he had to be like, make sure not to rape this one because I need him to be pure for me to ride him into hell. They're like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Fuck that guy.
I think the best villains, though, are the ones that... Like, part of like why I like Soulcatcher. Like, Soulcatcher is evil, but, like, has some redeeming qualities. Like, that's just, like... Fuck, that's fucking evil.
Yeah, but that's why I think that makes it the best villain. Well, not the best, but like...
Yeah, I don't know. To me, like,
because here's the thing. He had redeeming qualities. And those redeeming qualities were mostly just that he was intelligent. He had a reason to do the things he was doing.
Was it a good reason?
I don't think so, but he thought it was. And he could kind of sell you on it, but then his actions... Like... I need a villain to be incredibly villainous and to make me be like, oh shit, but also be able to convince themselves and almost me that there's a reason for what they're doing, but then only for me to pull back and go, no! Like, that's the best villain for me. You know what I mean?
Controversial answer. Jorg and Krath.
You know... I think he's the way I just described what I think a villain should be. I think he's just on the other side of that, to where you're like, okay.
You gotta read the next 2 books.
I guess I've got so much to read.
Oh, they're so good. I need to read the rest of Mark Lawrence's stuff. I read the first book of the next trilogy.
I keep seeing him on Twitter. He's got a new book out or something, or fairly new-ish.
Yeah, he keeps writing. He comes out like one a year.
Does he? That's good.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. That's the way I want to do it. That's the Bob dream. Come out with like a trilogy every 3 years with the occasional standalone book popping out here and there in amongst that.
You do a trilogy, then you do a standalone, and while you're doing the standalone, you collect the trilogy into an omnibus collection, collector's edition.
Yeah. That's the dream. Well, I think we've pretty well covered that one. We would love to hear your thoughts. Tell us what we got wrong. Tell us who we missed. Either on the Facebook page or on our blog, or shoot us an email, bookspiritsbooze@gmail.com. Love to hear your thoughts on it. Otherwise, I'm just going to say that, as you're going about in your daily life, you should go forth and grow a great beard.